Hey friends, this is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead, and today and tomorrow I'm canning tomatoes. Now this is all the tomatoes I have to can this year. I may be going to the market this weekend to get some more, but I still have canning to catch up on before I add more to it. But I freeze my tomatoes. Now I bought a case from the market and the rest are from my garden. So I freeze them. Why? Because when I pour boiling water over these, the skins are going to slip off, and we just throw the tomato into the stock pot. I keep one stock pot always on with hot water, and then the other one I will put on for our tomatoes. Okay, so I've put my bowl on a towel. Why? Because this is a watery, messy business, and if you don't want it all over your floor, I suggest you start off by putting your bowl of tomatoes on a thick folded towel. Now I'm going to take the water from my stock pot and pour it over. I'm going to actually throw some more in here because I have room. Now you want the water to be boiling. Why? Because these tomatoes are frozen as hard as cue balls. But look at this, right off, and into the pan it goes. See, look at that. We might as well visit while I'm doing this. Every year I say, oh, I'm not going to do it. Oh, and folks, keep a bucket, like the bucket you kept your frozen tomatoes in, on the table for the skins. This is a really wet, messy business. So my internet's down, and I'm having a hell of a time with internet because I'm supposed to have the best rural internet there is in Quebec, and I'm telling you folks, I need fiber optics because I phoned another internet company and they told me how to do a speed test, and he said, you're getting better than we can give you. So, but I'll tell you something, it's a real pain in the butt when you've got videos to upload and it takes hours, 3, 4, sometimes overnight. Well, when you've got 3 videos a day to upload, some days, you know, like today, I mean, well, I haven't edited my Tree Grows in Brooklyn yet. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to make conversation while I peel all these darn tomatoes. But I think I'm going to be going to the farmer's market tomorrow and see if I can't get one more bushel because I love my tomatoes. I use them like crazy, and usually by like March I'm buying store-bought. And you know what? All I can taste in the store-bought now is metal from the liners. So I don't know what they're using in the liners of cans, but it's weird because, you know, hybridization has lowered a lot of the acid content in tomatoes. So, you know, they're not as high acid as they used to be. And yet the cans that they put them in after, like, a year before the due date on them, and it's tasting metallic. And that's, you know, so I'm just going to have to go to the farmer's market and tomatoes. Today's Friday. I've got to get these tomatoes out of my freezer because I got other things in my freezer that I've got to work on canning before we do a pig. Now, we didn't raise a pig this year, but we're going to put it in the budget for a large pig, that like the one we bought for the pig roast from Peabody Farms here. And yeah, I think it's Venosta is the address. But we're going to just buy a whole frozen pig. It just needs to be cut up. And it's going to be a little more expensive. But, I mean, it's getting to the point now where we don't necessarily want to raise 2 pigs because, you know, that's a lot of meat. It's a lot of pork. But he won't sell us the piglets individually, and I understand that and appreciate that. But if we can't If 2 pigs is too much, then we have to, you know, do the next best thing, which is buy a frozen clean pig like we did for the pig roast, bring it home and whip it up on the saw, and go from there, you know. So anyway, all right, I'm through boring you with my talk while I do tomatoes. I will be back when I'm ready for the next step. Okay, so here's what I got out of all those tomatoes. Now this is cooking in a double boil format. What that means is I have one of my pressure canners with water in it and a rack in the bottom, and this sitting on top. Why? I don't have a heavy bottom saucepan, nor the energy or the time to stand here and stir and stir and stir to make sure the tomatoes don't scorch on the bottom. So if you don't want to stand and stir and stir and stir while your tomatoes are cooking down, double boil them. Then you can just walk away. Not too far, but you can walk away and do other things and not have to worry about your tomatoes scorching. So as soon as these cook down enough, I will add these to it and then I will can them. Okay, here we go. I've got 14 jars that have just come out of the dishwasher on sanitize mode. It won't be enough, but that's a good start. I got this pot of tomatoes, this pot of tomatoes, and I'm using my pressure canner as a boil bath canner. I have lots of water in it. I have a rack in the bottom, and I have vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. Here's all my lids, washed, rinsed, and ready to go. My salt and my equipment. Let's get started. Now I pureed my tomatoes to a certain degree with an immersion blender. You don't have to do that. I just like pureed tomatoes. I leave the occasional whole tomato in just for authenticity. So we fill our jar to 1 inch from the top. Put a ½ teaspoon of salt in there. Ahead of myself. Always, always wipe your jar rims with a clean damp paper towel. And on they go to fingertip tight. That means as tight as you can get it with one wrench, but without really wrenching on it. All right. And into the canner it goes. Now my canner's only half full of water right now for the simple reason is I'm going to be filling it up with jars and you get water displacement, right? So now these are liquid, so we don't have to debubble. Oh, almost forgot my salt. I eat a lot of tomatoes, and I love them. Canned tomatoes are okay, but they always seem to taste metallic to me. So I like to can my own. All right, when the canner's full, we'll be back. Okay, I have 9 pints in here, and I'm just going to put the lid on upside down. Why? Because I'm not pressure cooking it. I'm not pressure canning it. I just want to keep some of the heat in. So I've just put this lid on. And I got 6 in here. Once the water comes up to a boil, okay, I will time these for 20 minutes each. That's it, okay? And that's actually pretty long, okay? If you're cold packing your tomatoes, please boil bath can them for 30 minutes for pints, 40 minutes for quarts. That's if you're cold packing. 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes boiling for hot pack. There's a splash of vinegar in there, and always make sure that your jars are 1 inch to 2 inches underneath the water. I still have this much tomatoes to can, because I'm only, well, that's out of those 2 pots. And I just talked to Papa, and he got a deal at the farmer's market, and bought me 4 more cases of tomatoes, not 2. Bless his heart. And there it is, 27 pints of tomatoes. That's what I got out of 2 cases. I have 4 more to go. I think I'll be good. Take care. God bless.